Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. This video is a little bit different from usual. I'm not in my usual spot. But you know what? The reason why this is the way it is because I didn't have a lot of time in the week to film the podcast episode, and I also didn't have time this weekend either. So I thought, do I just not do it? And do I do it do I skip this week's podcast episode? Do I do like a video on Monday? And I thought, no, you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. And this is just something that I'm learning a lot through trying to be consistent and not seeing it as an option to not do something when I'm committed to it. Because realistically, we are going to sometimes not feel like it and just not be in the mood. We're going to be tired. We're going to have a lot of other things going on. We might not be feeling our best. We might not be feeling positive. But those are times where it's actually really important to still do the things that you say you're going to do. Because throughout our life, we're always going to experience challenges and hurdles. And if we just decided not to do it every single time, then we would never do anything. It feels good for me. It feels like I can just be myself no matter, what I'm feeling or how my week's going. I don't have to get everything perfect because that's really exhausting as well, trying to just get it all perfect. It's crazy. My first couple of videos, I started out with, a massive softbox. And then now I'm down to this little LED light, which I just looked at and I have no vision. And just oh, by the way, I'm not using a fork this time. I'm using my, hang on. It's my little skincare brush that I used to put my face mask on my face. Again, not perfect, but I quite like it because it means I don't have to hold it really high up. I can just rest my arm on my leg. So yeah. There's actually no plan for today's video either. I haven't even thought of a plan. It's going to be really, really chill, but I'm going to try and keep it on a topic rather than just blabbing on about everything and anything. Okay, so I've got my journal today and I'm just going to be talking about things that I've got in my journal. And there's a couple of entries that I've written last week, so I'm going to be just kind of looking at those, not reading those out, but talking about them. I want this to be something that's not too structured, not structured at all, to be honest with you. I quite like the idea of just putting content out there that is still valuable, but it feels really easy to watch and to listen to. And that I'm just being myself because I get so frustrated when I just feel like I'm just watching so much content and everything out there is just so curated and scripted and not real. There's so much AI. There's so many creators that have sponsors that don't align with their brand. Even just the word brand kind of gives me the ick nowadays because I'm I just want to be myself. I don't want to be labeled anything. I don't want to be I just want to be who I am as a person. My soul, I want that to be existent in my life. And my career and my content creation is a big part of my life. And yeah, there's just a lot of pressure, and you can tell when something's fake as well. When I'm watching content, I can tell straight away when something feels real and when it's just fake. And I think I've kind of over the last year or two, over time, I've slowly started to realise and pick up on things. And I've been exposed to experiences, and I've been in rooms and I've heard conversations and I've witnessed things. And these times have revealed to me that what you think something is just what that person or that brand wants to be perceived as. And it's literally a plan, it's a strategy. A lot of the things that we see and read are not actually real. Like, to the core, strip away all of those different elements that don't make it real. And these elements could just be like, you know, their branding, their strategy, their social media, their content, the words that they say, their messaging, photos, videos, basically however, you know, in any form that they communicate to other people about who they are and what they do, that is how they can almost manipulate people and trick you into thinking that, you know, oh, you can relate to this, you can relate to me, I'm just like you, when really, like, you can't really trust anyone, because people can say something, they can wear a mask, and you don't know what they're hiding and what is actually the truth. But yeah, I mean, I could try and convince you all day that I'm just being my authentic self, but I guess you never really know. You don't really know whether I'm telling the truth. Sorry, I've got my leg up. Looks weird. You don't really know if I'm someone that's telling the truth or not. And I guess the difference is that I'm not going to convince you to believe me. You can believe what you want, because you have every right, and I want you to. I would want people to, you know, trust themselves more than they trust others. Not saying not to trust people, but trust your instinct and your intuition and your gut, because usually, like, you know, your body responds to things that feel off, and you need to trust that. That actually kind of links into like what I've been working through, or come to a realization, is that I don't trust myself enough. And like, on paper, it might come across as though like I'm very assured of myself, I'm very confident, but again, very easy to fake that, you know, fake confidence and fake that you trust yourself. Because a lot of the time, like, I make a decision and I'm going back and forth on whether it was the right decision, or when I'm trying to make a decision, I go back and forth whether it's the right decision or not, what choice to make, what path to follow, how's it going to affect that person, how's it going to affect me, yeah, but how's it going to affect them? And I'm always worrying about what everybody else thinks and not trusting my own judgment. And on the surface, that can, you know, it can maybe look like to someone else that you kind of made your decision pretty easily and that you felt confident in making your decision. But I, in the past, have gone back and forth on myself and not trusted myself. It's almost like I knew, like I had a gut feeling, but I didn't feel 100% confident to follow through with the decision that is going to make my body feel safe. And usually, like, when I've made the right decision, I get that sense of relief and my body relaxes. The opposite of that is just feeling tense and feeling upset and feeling like there was lost potential there. But 99% of the time, I've always just felt relieved. And it's because you're not going to question something that is 100% for you. Like, if something is right for you, you will know that there's a reason why you're questioning it, and why there's doubt there is because, like, your brain is saying yes, but your heart or your gut is saying no. And, or maybe, like, in your heart, like, you really, like, want to do something, but, you know, your brain is the one that's saying no, and your body is reacting in a way where it knows that it's not for you. And yeah, it's just really important to listen to ourselves and pay attention to our body and how we react to things, because that way we'll actually be able to learn to trust ourselves. And then we don't need external validation from people. We don't need to go back and forth on our own decisions. We don't need to call up our friend or our sister and be like, what should I do? Because you would have made that decision yourself. How many times have you asked somebody else for their opinion and then just went with what you thought anyway and not listened to them? It's almost like you went to someone else because you wanted them to validate what you wanted, but then you realise they're not actually approving of what you wanted. So in the end, you end up going with what you wanted anyway and making that choice for yourself. So yeah, I'm learning to really just be confident in myself, and through doing that right now, I'm just listening to my body. That's literally all that I'm doing at the moment, and just being honest with myself and with others and communicating that, just being respectful of people, but at the same time, fully doing what is right for me and remembering that this is my life, not theirs, and I need to think of myself. I'm also in a phase where I'm coming at the end of like a transition, and I'm starting to step into almost feels like what I've always waited for. I was in a very low place at the end of last year, and to be honest, for years I've struggled a lot trying to find what's for me, like what am I meant to be doing, and trying different things, and like just really putting myself out there and putting myself in uncomfortable positions, but never really finding like what's for me. And I felt really lost at the end of last year. And I came into this year still feeling confused. And it's not until very recently that something clicked. And I really started to realise what it is that I want to do and what kind of life that I really want for myself. And the funny thing is that I think it was there all along, but I just didn't trust myself. And I wasn't in a space where I felt safe to explore it. I felt like I had to punish myself and put myself through lots of hardships to be able to be a success. I also had a vision on what success meant to me. And success meant to me very aesthetic things that I thought like looked successful and like was deemed as successful by other people. And I wanted that because I didn't know that there wasn't any other version of success. But then I found my own. And that is linked to how my life makes me feel, because how my life feels to me is much more important than what it says on a piece of paper, or what my family thinks, or what my friends think, or, you know, I don't know, I just had this expectation of myself that didn't align with my values or my morals. It's also taken me some time to really learn what my values and my morals are. Can I just say, it is so hot at the moment. It was 31 degrees today, and I went for a small hike, and it was so hot. Like, I was literally sweating. Like, I've been sweating at home a lot, like having multiple showers a day, because I just keep sweating and getting really hot. And I know it's a bit gross, but I'm trying to stay like clean and fresh and hydrated. So what I value is being respected and human first communication within anything, like within life in general, but also within family, friends, business. I'm a human first, and I really value that. And I speak to people like as though, you know, they're a friend, because at the end of the day, that's what we are, human to human. We're all just like acquaintances and friends. Like, not everything has to be surface level, and I usually try to read people whether they want to talk about certain things or not, but I always say, like, are you okay? Because I get asked a lot by some people, how's your business? How's that doing? How's that project going? I'm like, I'd rather you just ask me how I am first, because that just feels a lot more natural and honest. And a project might be going well or it might not be going well, but usually whether something is going well in my life determines on how I feel. That could be a project, it could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be, I don't know, just like random stuff like how's that DIY project at home, or how you're getting on with your new appliance, or okay, these are really bad examples, but do you know what I mean? Like, everything in our life it comes from us. So to know how somebody's doing first, I really respect that and I value that a lot. I value equality. I don't put people on pedestals, and I wouldn't expect anyone else to put me on a pedestal. I don't see anyone else around me as like they're above me or more important, because we're all humans and we're all the same. So I really value equality, and that can be in anything, to be honest with you. I just value it a lot. And I guess I just value like realness and authenticity. I love it when somebody can be themselves. I love it when I'm speaking with people who are very outspoken and believe strongly in something, and they're passionate about something, or when somebody gets excited and they light up about something. I love that. When people are confident in that way, it tells me that they don't need external validation from anybody else, and I feel safe then to share my own opinions and what I believe in, and share the things that I love, because I know that we're not going to expect the other person to agree with us all the time. And I love that, because it means that there's no expectation there, and the other person can believe in whatever they choose to, and we're just going to accept that and move on. I also find the conversation really interesting when the other person disagrees with me and doesn't agree with me, because then it just becomes like a debate. And that's great, because I feel like I learn so much from those conversations. And when I speak, I always say, like, I think, I believe, because I'm not going to claim anything to be true, because everything is like subjective, and that's just the stance that I stand on, and I respect that you might not have the same stance as me. And if I come across people that do not align with my values and my morals, then that's fine. That's okay. I'm just not, we're just not meant to be friends, or we're just not meant to be in contact with each other, and we move on, we say goodbye. And there's just so much hate in the world. And if people just like walked away from conversations that were escalating or were bad energy, then we'd probably save ourselves a lot of hurt. And yeah, I respect it when people are patient, when they listen, when they actively listen to someone. I love that. And I love it when people are kind and thoughtful of others, and I value those that do see other people as equals and love to include others in what they're doing. I did write in my journal that I know and I'm aware that I'm in a better place than I was like 5 months ago, but I'm still feeling lonely and I don't know who my people are. And it's a difficult place to be, because where I'm finding myself, I'm also losing people, and not in a crazy dramatic way, because I've lost people ages ago. And I love that I don't stick around if it's not for me, and I don't expect people to stick around either. it's just really hard when you just, like, you don't want to be around just anybody, but then you also want to be around people. When you're quite selective with who you surround yourself with, you end up just like kind of picking everything in someone, and that can be quite negative and critical. Like, you feel like such a critical person because you're like, oh yeah, but I don't like that, or oh yeah, but they made me feel this way, and yeah, I just don't vibe with that person. Like, they don't like this, I like this, so how, like, that just doesn't align well. People don't have to be perfect, and I guess I'm just trying to find my people, but I guess I'm just trying to find my people, and whether, whether they're completely aligned with everything or not. I guess, like, as long as they're a good person and they're self-aware, then I can pretty much, like, you don't have to like the same things as me. But I think the fundamentals are definitely just someone who is self-aware and has maturity about them. I find that people who have gone through something, I find it easier to connect with them because they haven't had things like super easy their whole life, and they have a bit of depth to their character, and I really love that. I find it really easy to talk about things when somebody else is open to talking about things too. I guess, like, there's like stages to building a friendship, and it's hard to, like, as somebody who is like self-aware and appreciates like deep conversation, when you're getting to know someone, you can't just jump into deep conversation straight away. Like, there has to be some kind of surface level chat, like even just like introducing yourself to someone. But I think that what I'm starting to learn is, like, if I've known somebody for quite some time and we've been talking and like we've hung out a couple times and we're still not really getting anywhere, then yeah, because I don't want to hang around with people who make me feel small and less than. I find that if I hang around people who, usually it's people who are insecure about themselves, they project that onto others in a way, whether they mean to or not. I just feel like there's been people that I'll hang around with and, like, they make me feel small, whether they're like mean or whether they're just how they feel about themselves projects onto me, and they put themselves into a box, so they put you into a box, or they make you feel like you need to put yourself into a box. So if I sense that from someone during a conversation, and maybe we've like hung out a few times and I just feel like there's no growth there and there's no depth at all, then they're just not my person. And yeah, like, it's important to be accepting of other people, but also to be selective with who you surround yourself with, because at the end of the day, like, you do become people that you're around, and if the friendship or the relationship doesn't make you happy, you need to do what's best for you. And those people will find their people, and you will find your people. So yeah, I guess right now I'm just learning to be like super patient and also enjoy my own company, because I've been through phases where I've really gotten to know myself and spent a lot of time by myself and done a lot of things solo. But I think there's a lot of things and there's a lot of places I haven't been to. There's a lot of things that I haven't done, and it's because there's no one to go with. But I'm really starting to just do things, and it doesn't matter if someone's going to join me or not. You just got to do it, and you just got to go alone. As a woman, I try to be safe when I do things by myself. That was a concern that I still have. But I think I'm very at the beginning of this, by the way. Like, I'm only going to really start hiking solo this week. I'm going to try it. Just because I want to spend that time by myself, and it's becoming a big part of my life. And just because like there's no one that is as passionate about me, just because there's no one as passionate about it as I am, that doesn't mean that I can't get involved and I can't do it. I need to make it happen for myself, and you don't know who you're going to meet along the way. Oh, my foot's gone numb. You don't know like who you're going to meet along the way as well. And usually by doing these things alone, you actually find the people that you feel aligned with. So yeah. I don't like crowded places. I don't like networking events. I don't like any of that. I feel like I can't really get to know someone or really know if it's the right fit and the right match. It feels kind of forced sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Like, well, I go to a networking event, like, you know, you're kind of forced to speak to people, and yeah, it's a great way to like be introduced to like a group of people and putting yourself out there. But a lot of the times, like, we take each other's contact details and then nothing really happens. And I'm not going to find my people in a networking room. I'm just not. I'm probably going to find my people when I'm just out doing what I love and taking action, because naturally friendships are going to blossom and I'm going to find my tribe. Anyway, I think I'm going to go, but thank you so much for listening, and I do apologise that this video is a little bit like, it's not usually set up how it usually is, but I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. And if you enjoyed this, then please follow the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give it a like, and let me know in the comments if there's, you know, if you have any questions or if there's anything that you would like me to share. And yeah, I can't wait to just keep sharing with you guys like what I'm up to and documenting my journey. Thank you so much for being a part of this community, and yeah, bye guys.